Just like in every other walk of life, everyone makes mistakes when it comes to personal finance. We're only humans after all. But here's the thing. Do you remember the famous saying that failure is only feedback? With every mistake I made over the years, I learned some pretty smart lessons in the process. And believe it when I tell you that Warren Buffett played a big part in it. So in today's video, I will share with you 9 of the greatest financial lessons from Warren Buffett that basically changed my life. You might want to pay close attention because each of these timeless tips is crucial, and missing out on any of them could well enough leave your financial aspirations unsuccessful. Number 1. Improve your network. The first lesson that I really learned from Warren Buffett is genuinely a heartbreaker, but boy is it important. Do you remember the popular saying, "Show me your friends and I'll tell you who you are"? Believe it or not, it is 100% true. We often make friends out of the circumstances we're born into. Say the neighborhood we grew up in, the schools we attended, and the coworkers we work with. But what do you think will happen if our friend circles are filled with bad money habits and negative lifestyles? Face it, if all the people you know have a small mindset and no financial goals, chances are that you're also not going to get any breakthroughs. Just take a look at Warren Buffett. He rolls with smart, top-minded people like him who dare to overachieve. And even he said that Berkshire Hathaway could not have been built to its present status without Charlie's inspiration, wisdom, and participation. Imagine having a billionaire friend list of Bill Gates and Charlie Munger. The least you're going to be is a mega millionaire because you've got the connections and the know-how to get to the top 1%. If you want to improve yourself, you have to start by leveling up your network. But don't take this to mean abandoning your current friends or even family. Just push yourself outside your comfort zone to make friends with people that you can genuinely grow with. Number 2, investing should be simple. The second thing that I learned from Warren Buffett is the lesson of simplicity. And by this, I mean investing. While the media and a lot of investors portray investments as something that's difficult and full of risk, truly effective investing is quite different. You don't need to understand all of the technical jargon, the financial terms, and semantics before you begin to strike gold on your investments. Just take a look at this clip of Warren Buffett.
Investing is really not complicated. I mean, the basic framework for it is simple. You didn't have to have a high IQ. You didn't have to have lots of investment smarts to buy junk bonds in 2002. You really just had to have sort of the courage of your convictions. You had to have the willingness to do something when everybody else was petrified.
Again, creating an effective investment portfolio doesn't require a degree in rocket science. Speaking at Berkshire's annual shareholders meeting in 2022, Warren Buffett slammed Wall Street financial advisors for catching the crumbs that fall off the table of capitalism, and said that in most cases, monkeys could provide better investment returns simply by throwing money at American companies. For years, Warren Buffett has advised investors to put their money in low-cost index funds, which hold every stock in the index, making them automatically diversified. The S&P 500, for example, includes big-name companies like Apple, Coca-Cola, and Amazon. And with just 2 or 3 simple funds, anyone can be a safe investor. Don't believe the common misconception that investing is difficult and risky. You're either going to make some bad moves at the end of the day or be too frightened to begin with. And in both scenarios, what's the gain in the end? Number 3, long-term investing is the way to go. That said, this brings us to the next personal finance lesson. Effective investing should always be for the long run and not for the short-term gains. If you're a fan of the Oracle of Omaha, you should probably be aware that Warren Buffett loves buying stocks to hold for years. But if you're just new to the game, here's the sage addressing it himself.
But you shouldn't buy stocks unless you expect to hold them for a very extended period and you are prepared financially and psychologically to hold them the same way you would hold a farm and never look at a quote. You've got to be prepared to, when you buy a stock, to have it go down 50% or more.
Instead of flirting with stocks that hold worthy short-term opportunities, he looks at the whole picture. The firm's ability to consistently increase profits and the kind of yield they've gotten on the market. Only when a company satisfies that criteria does Warren Buffett finally buy its stocks, and that's for the long term. Yes, they still occasionally sell stocks for a variety of reasons. The initial aim is to buy and hold it forever. Take a look at American Express, Costco, and Coca-Cola, for example. Berkshire Hathaway has owned AMEX for 29 years, Costco for over 2 decades, and Coca-Cola for 34 years. As you can see, they've been holding those sweet stocks for years, and you best believe they're still winning. Whenever you want to make an investment, always have a long-term mindset. Buy a specific stock and basically hold it forever, instead of fretting over the timing and the downtimes of the market. Not only will it make you less emotional, but you'll also gain more thanks to the power of compound interests. Number 4, a good investment isn't exciting. In fact, it should be boring. And this brings up the next lesson that I learned from the Oracle of Omaha. If you're making flashy investments, chances are that you're making a big mistake. Like a smooth airplane ride, the way Warren Buffett invests follows a simple, predictable pattern. While it may seem boring or unadventurous, as some may say, the goal is simply to win big without unmanageable risks. Daredevil moves, whether in the skies or markets, can lead to unexpected turbulence, and Berkshire's approach is grounded in history and intelligent future analysis, favoring reliability over risky shortcuts. Like we said earlier, he has bought and held reliable stocks like Coca-Cola and Apple for years, instead of getting exciting investments like Bitcoin and NFTs. Unlike the former, you won't get rich overnight, and while that may seem boring, the fact that you're investing in a reliable market with compound interest will most likely give you more money in the future. Remember how people lost thousands of dollars on the NFT buzz? And how about when people lost a lot of their savings when the crypto market recently crashed? Exciting, high-octane investments can't beat boring ones in the long run. Investing should be more like watching paint dry or grass grow. And if you're getting really emotional about your investments, you're closer to gambling than really investing. Number 5. Buy to impress equals less money. Another great personal finance lesson that I learned from Warren Buffett is that when we buy things that seem flashy or rich to impress people around us, we're actually going to end up with less money. Now, while it sounds pretty straightforward and kind of a no-brainer, a lot of people, including investors, unknowingly make this mistake. One of my favorite lines from Morgan Housel's The Psychology of Money is, "Spending money to show people how much money you have is the fastest way to have less." Given our inherently social nature, seeking social validation isn't unexpected. However, the challenge arises when we attempt to achieve this through material possessions, a trend particularly noticeable among millennials and Gen Z. To address this, how about we use the practical example of Matthew, an average guy eager to impress his friends. In an attempt to appear wealthier, he buys a flashy car and a house way beyond his means. Initially, he enjoys the admiration, but soon financial reality hits. The costly car and house payments wreck his finances, leading to stress and debt. And do you know the sad part? His friends and the random people on the street could genuinely care less. For someone as rich as Warren Buffett, you'd likely think he stays in a flashy building in one of the most expensive areas. But you couldn't be more wrong.
And I wouldn't live better if I had 8 houses, if I had, a 400-foot yacht or anything of the sort. I've been on 400-foot yachts and I've been in a lot of fancy houses, but I'm in a house that I bought 55 years ago. It's warm in the winter, it's cool in the summer, it has everything I wanted, plus it has all kinds of good memories. My kids have good.
The cost of living doesn't always equate to the standard of living. If you're going to spend money, spend it on things that truly add value to you. Number 6. Real millionaires are frugal. And speaking of the cost of living, have you noticed that millionaires who built their wealth with sweat are actually frugal? It might sound hard to believe, but it's true. Despite the media often portraying millionaires with expensive clothes, watches, and status symbols, the reality is quite different. A typical real-life millionaire tends to reside in a middle-class home, drive a 2-year-old or older paid-for car, and opt for casual attire when outdoors. This is particularly obvious for people who make a high income from their investments, careers, or businesses. And guess what? The key characteristic that led them to becoming millionaires in the first place was their frugality. They mastered the art of living well below their means, opting for affordable clothes, suits, and frequently choosing used cars over the latest models. Some may say they're just being greedy, but the truth is that they just know the true value of money. Take Warren Buffett, for example. Apart from the fact that he still lives in a modest home for someone of his status, he also shies away from paying a high price for breakfast. When it comes to food, he frequently takes a trip to McDonald's during his 5-minute drive to work. And if he's feeling fancy, he'll splurge on a bacon, egg, and cheese biscuit sandwich. To make things even more interesting, his daughter, Susie Buffett, stated that Warren even buys cars at reduced prices, like those that have been damaged by hail. And how about his cell phone? He used a Nokia flip phone for years until his daughter basically forced him to get an iPhone 11. Ladies and gentlemen, true wealth is built upon the bedrock of frugality, not an extravagant lifestyle. Number 7, cash is king. Coming up next is surprisingly one of the most overlooked lessons that most people practice. And newsflash, should a recession happen next year, you're going to wish you had made your bets on it. You see, strong personal finance relies on a solid foundation, and a robust cash position is the cornerstone. Just as you wouldn't build a house without a sturdy foundation, it's crucial to have an emergency fund in place before delving into investments.
Over $100 billion of cash.
Berkshire does that.
Berkshire. No, well, I don't even see how much you got. Maybe you do. Berkshire has over $100 billion in cash, and you say that you always want this company to be a fortress. So how much cash should an ordinary investor have on a percentage basis, do you think?
It depends on their personal situation. If you're working in something where you're living off your paycheck from week to week, you want to have a little cash around, and you certainly don't want to have a credit card that's maxed out or anything like that.
Years ago, Warren Buffett gave us all timeless advice on holding cash. But listen to it straight from the horse's mouth. Emergency funds serve as a safety net for unforeseen life events like job loss, car repairs, or medical emergencies. Without this financial cushion, our ambitious investment plans are susceptible to derailment, as unexpected expenses may force us to divert funds from investments to address new emergencies. In their 2014 Berkshire Hathaway annual report, Warren Buffett and Charlie Munger declared their commitment to maintaining a cash reserve of no less than $20 billion, aiming to avoid any situation where liquidity might be insufficient. When the COVID-19 induced market crash occurred in 2020, Berkshire had a substantial $137 billion in cash. While others were gripped by uncertainty, Buffett and Munger fortified Berkshire Hathaway, making it even more resilient in the face of economic uncertainty. Now, apart from the fact that their strategy gives them a nice buffer, another big reason why Berkshire holds a lot of cash is that Warren Buffett would be in a great position to take advantage of any golden opportunity. In the 2008 financial crisis, Warren Buffett injected $5 billion into Goldman Sachs shortly after Lehman Brothers' collapse. This move not only provided a significant confidence boost for Goldman Sachs, but also played a crucial role in stabilizing the already precarious market. Interestingly, it also fetched around $3 billion for Warren Buffett, underscoring the advantage of having the financial flexibility to seize amazing opportunities. Number 8, invest in yourself. There's a reason why Warren Buffett believes that the best form of investment that you can ever make is in yourself. But unfortunately for a lot of people, self-investment often falls low on their list of priorities and becomes something that they postpone until either they have a lot of money or time. Personally, it's such a big shame because learning new skills and fostering personal development not only enhances our personal and professional lives, but also aids in our journey to becoming the best version of ourselves. All wealth is created from income. Increasing your human capital means learning skills to make more money. To truly stand out, it's important to elevate yourself to a level that others cannot overlook. And this involves surpassing expectations, consistently honing your craft, and committing to continuous learning and growth to achieve excellence. Employees must acquire comprehensive knowledge about their role, industry, and company to become valued experts in their field, and entrepreneurs must ensure that their products or services have a competitive advantage. Offering something special is what's going to make you the only option worth considering. Essentially, Buffett believes that we must invest substantial time, energy, and effort into developing our talents and skills if we want to succeed in both the immediate and distant future. We must bet on ourselves by constantly working to improve, as that's the only way we're going to become too good to be ignored. Number 9. Marry wisely. The 9th financial lesson from Warren Buffett that changed my life is that when it comes to finding our significant other, one thing we need to look out for is how well the other person manages money. Believe it or not, the relationship between marriage and wealth is intertwined. Accumulating wealth in a marriage can be challenging if one partner is a spendthrift, And as a matter of fact, such divergent financial orientations could cripple even billionaires. And speaking of which, did you know that Warren Buffett's first wife, Susan, taught him a lot in the field of investments? As a matter of fact, Warren himself stated that he would not have been the man he is today if not for her presence. Until Susan's passing in 2004, she held the position of the 17th richest woman globally, served as the director for Berkshire Hathaway, and acted as the president of the Buffett Foundation. And in becoming Warren Buffett, the Oracle of Omaha just couldn't help but wax lyrical over her. In his words, "It's really a huge advantage from a personal standpoint to have a wonderful partner. I mean, that's the most important decision that you make. Who you marry, which is the ultimate partnership, is enormously important in determining the happiness of your life and your success, and I was lucky in that respect." Additionally, Warren described Susan as a balancing force who softened him and made him understand human nature. Her presence was indispensable and a guide to help him navigate life. Can you see why picking the right person is so important? As a matter of fact, it's probably the greatest lesson in the long run. Always remember that although you may not have a choice in determining how you were born and raised, you have something to say about who you marry. So do it right.